True peace, Kens. It is July 1st, 2020, and I am back at y'all with another one. And if you trying to stay ahead of the game, you should subscribe to Peep the Slang. Wooden currency. Why this small town in Washington have came up with its own wooden currency, and it got some history to it. Peep the Slang. Why a small town in Washington is printing its own currency during the pandemic. That's the headline, Peep the Slang. In a bid to lessen the blow of COVID-19, the town of Tenino has started issuing its own wooden dollars that can only be spent at local businesses. Will it work? Wayne Fournier was sitting in a town meeting when he had his big idea. As the mayor of Tenino, Washington, population of 1,884, he'd watched the pandemic rake local businesses. Residents couldn't afford groceries. Long lines snaked outside the local food bank. For more than a month, the downtown area looked almost abandoned. To bring back the economy, Fournier needed to act. We're talking about grants for businesses, microloans, trying to team up with a bunch of different banks, he tells the Hustle. The big concern was how do we directly help families and individuals? And then it hit him. Why not start our own currency? The plan came together fast. Fournier decided that Tenino would set aside 10K to give out to low income residents hurt by the pandemic. But instead of using federal dollars, he print the money on thin sheets of wood designed exclusively for the use in Tenino. His mint, a 130-year-old newspaper printer from a local museum. Fournier's central idea is pulled straight from Tenino's own history. During the Great Depression, the city printed sets of wooden dollars using the exact same 1890 newspaper printer. Within a year, the wooden currency had helped bring the economy back from the dead. By reinstating the old currency now, Fournier has accidentally become part of a much bigger movement, with businesses worried about keeping the lights on and people scrambling to find spending money. Communities have struggled to keep their local economies afloat. So they revived an old strategy. When in doubt, print your own money. Today, these so-called local currencies might help small communities recover from the economic fallout of COVID-19. Tonino's big bet. Fournier isn't your cookie cutter politician. A firefighter since the age of 18, he first gained local notoriety for a series of Bansky style guerrilla art projects that took a jab at local leaders. Soon after he revealed himself, he won a spot on the city council. 4 years later, in 2016, he became Tonino's mayor. To hear Fournier tell it, until COVID-19, the community had been on the upswing. Fournier was working on plans to create 150 plus new agriculture jobs, but Tonino's businesses, which are locally owned and run on small margins, were not built to weather a lockdown. There's a lot of them that have already said they're not going to reopen, says Fournier, and the ones that have been hanging on are going to need a boost. The city is also poorer than the rest of Washington state. We have a higher rate of kids in our school district that receive free and reduced lunch, says Fournier. There's a higher rate of folks in poverty. Fournier's local currency programs work like this. Residents below the poverty line can apply to receive money from the 10K fund that Tonino has set aside. Fournier says they have to prove the pandemic has impacted them, but we're pretty open to what that means. Once they approve, they can pick up their snippets printed in wooden notes worth 25 each. The city is capping the amount each resident can accrue at 12 wooden notes, or 300 per month, according to Fournier's. Each note features a Latin inscription that means basically we got this handled. The spending comes with a few restrictions. Residents can use the money to buy cigarettes, lottery tickets, or alcohol. The currency is designed for the essentials, including food, gas, and daycare. Almost every business in town accepts the wooden notes, and twice a month they can submit redemption requests to the city to turn the notes into cash. But why print money on wood? Why not just give residents 300 worth of federal dollars? The answer is simple. By creating its own local currency, Tonino keeps the money in the community As Fournier puts it, Amazon would not be accepting wooden dollars. The money stays in the city. It does not go out to Walmart and Costco and all those places, says Joyce Worrell, who has run the antique shop Ironworks Boutique for the past decade. Worrell sells clothes, jewelry, and an outdoor garden that adjoins her shop and assortment of furniture. These days, she's added masks and disinfectants.